And welcome back inside the Robert J. Collins Arena for another edition of Brookdale Basketball here on BTV. Tonight is the Region 19 tournament, the second round of the quarterfinals. And we have it live for you this afternoon in the Collins Arena. Tim Califamo alongside Brian Gouser. Brian, this is one of the more hotly contested games that we've been looking forward to in this tournament because Brookdale and Cumberland, the third seed and the sixth seed, are two of the toughest teams really in this conference. They always play very tight, and this should be a very close game this evening.
No question about it. And usually when you look at a number 3 versus a number 6, you would say, well, the number 3 has a decided edge. But in this particular matchup, these two teams, as you mentioned, very much evenly matched. Their two meetings in the regular season were both very close games, and I expect no different here tonight.
Brookdale is coming off of losing to Cumberland earlier this year during the regular season. They actually split a pair with Cumberland. They actually won on their season home opener back in November. That was a tight game. They lost on the road most recently back in January, 76-71. So it should be a very tight game for sure. As Brookdale is getting introduced off of their bench, Cumberland has already been introduced. We'll give you the Cumberland starting five. As you take, actually, we'll go with the Brookdale starting five first. Stefan Forbes replaces Jordan Smith, who will not play tonight after breaking one of his fingers in the last game against Camden. So Forbes comes in for Smith. Teray Gatling's Tyler Hawkins, Randy Sutton, and Jameer Calhoun round out the starting five for Brookdale. And we talked about it, Brian, off camera. That's going to be a major loss to the Jersey Blues tonight.
It is a big loss. I mean, you're talking about one of the guys who was a double-figure scorer for the Jersey Blues this season. Since he arrived on this team here in the second semester of the year, became one of their key players. There was a continuity with that starting lineup, so now they have to find some other answers, a different group here in the starting lineup in the absence of Smith, and hopefully a combination that will work out here and what is obviously a very important game.
And as now you look at the Cumberland Dukes starting five, Michael Burton, Phil Cicero, who's probably one of the more talented players on the team, the two Clarks, and Andre Robinson. Those five players on the floor, the most talented for Cumberland, they will be tough tonight here in this quarterfinal round. So a couple of moments before we get ready to tip things off here in the Collins Arena. This is the second round of the quarterfinals. The winner goes on to play, ironically enough, here in this building on Saturday in the semifinals. Brookdale in the home whites, Cumberland in the away yellows. Our officials this evening, Tom Fitzgerald, DeJuan Jones, and Myron Hendrick. It's Jameer Calhoun at midcourt with Phil Cicero. The opening tap is controlled by Cumberland, and we are underway. Dukes want to start out strong here, and going to the bucket and scoring right away, Taylor Clark. So it's Cumberland now with an early 2-0 advantage.
And right away, the Cumberland leading scorer all season long makes his presence felt with a backdoor cut and a layup to start the scoring tonight.
Brookdale now on their first offensive possession. Sutton dumps it into Gatling, and Gatling off the glass. We're tied at 2.
And with Jordan Smith not a part of things, I think that increases the burden on a guy like Teray Gatling because those two have similar skill sets, and Gatling gets off to the good start.
Kevin Clark calls a timeout. It's guarded very heavily there by Tyler Hawkins, and Cumberland burns an early timeout with 19-12 rather remaining here in the first half. It's a 30-second timeout as you get a look at Darren Stalling there in the green jacket on the sidelines. First-year head coach for the Cumberland County Dukes. Comes in from Stockton University, where he was the associate women's basketball coach and also the lead recruiter. And he has recruited very well, I would say, in his first season, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the starting lineup. They kind of have an emerging big three here for the Dukes this season that have done the majority of the heavy lifting in terms of scoring, of course, led by Taylor Clark, but the other Clark is chipped in as well. It's a group that really can score the basketball.
Spoke to Stalling before the game. He tells me that he feels good about tonight's game, but he wants his team to get off to a strong start. As the shot clock expires there for Cumberland, I'm not sure if the Dukes had realized the shot clock was that low out of that timeout.
Yeah, the way they played that possession, it appeared they had no idea, which is more inexcusable because they were coming out of a timeout.
So miscommunication there on offense for the Dukes. Opportunity here for Brookdale and take their first lead of the game. Hawkins now back out to Forbes. The three on the way for Stefan. Forbes goes. He is a three-point shooter, and now he heats up behind the arc, and Brookdale 5-2, they lead.
And Forbes is such a sharp shooter. Look out once he finds his rhythm.
Clark got his own rebound. Up and in. Count the bucket for Kevin Clark. No, an offensive foul. I'm sorry. It will go the other way. Clark thought that it had counted, but it'll be the first foul of the game, and this one goes against Kevin Clark. There are two Clarks on the floor, Kevin Clark and Taylor Clark, no relation. Calhoun, the jumper along the baseline. This one's way off the mark. And the rebound to Cicero.
And that's usually kind of his sweet spot off good ball movement, but that time just came up with air.
Taylor Clark on the drive. This time there is a foul on Brookdale, and it'll send Taylor Clark to the foul line. Clark was attempting the reverse layup there. It's on Calhoun. That's his first personal. So Taylor Clark, the 6'2 sophomore from Vineland, New Jersey, not able to hit the first attempt from the line. Has a total of 610 points, total points this season for the Cumberland Dukes.
You know, both of these teams struggle from the free throw line, and we see it on display there. The first attempts of the game, 0 for 2.
Knocked out of bounds here. It'll stay with the Jersey Blues with 23 to shoot. Ray Gatling knocking that one out. Forbes now kicks it over to Sutton. Shot clock is now down to 15 for Brookdale. Not a whole lot of movement on this offensive possession. Forbes. Now here's Sutton with 4 on the shot clock. Throws it away. And here comes Cumberland up the floor with Clark. Taylor Clark to the rim. High off the glass, doesn't fall. Sutton corrals the rebound.
Brookdale hoping for a better possession offensively. The last one just very disjointed. Ball staying on the perimeter and eventually led to a turnover.
Forbes another 3. This one's a little too strong. And the weak side rebound corralled by Cicero. Phil Cicero keeping it himself and scoring at the other end with the left hand.
Strong move by Cicero going coast to coast. He gets the rebound on one end, then goes right through the teeth of the Brookdale defense for the layup.
5-4, Brookdale leads. Calhoun make it 3. 7-4 now the advantage for the Jersey Blues as Calhoun has got his first bucket of the night.
And that's a shot Brookdale will take 10 times out of 10. Getting Calhoun in that kind of position and getting the bucket.
Cicero again with contact, another left-hand layup, so 2 straight buckets for Phil Cicero, and Cumberland's back within 1.
Nice little back and forth basketball we got going on. Both teams executing offensively in the early going.
Dukes have now dropped into what appears to be a 2-3 zone. Gatling attacking the rim, had it partially blocked away by Burden. Kevin Clark underneath to Cicero, and Cumberland retakes the lead now 8-7. So you said it, Brian. High, fast action early on in these first opening minutes. Back and forth in this second quarterfinal round of the Region 19 tournament. Gatling along the baseline, now back out to Hawkins. On the drive, lost it. Poked away, still here. Shot clock did not reset for the Jersey Blues. And now finally Burden comes away with it. Up ahead to Taylor Clark, to the rim. Clark lays it in.
And what goes along with games of this magnitude is, and you can hear it, more noise in the building. And that's something that these teams will have to adjust to.
Very energetic crowd here in the Collins Arena. Brookdale down by 3. Gatling inside, puts it in for 2. And now it's a 1-point lead for the Dukes.
That's just good work. Big man to big man. Calhoun to Gatling for the easy 2.
Dangerous pass now over to Taylor Clark in the corner, 10 to shoot. Cross-court pass to Kevin Clark, 3 on the way, and he's fouled. That's going to be on Tyler Hawkins, and because it was behind the three-point line, that's going to be 3 shots upcoming for Kevin Clark.
Yeah, those are always the fouls that you can't afford. Fouling a jump shooter from behind the line, that time Hawkins, the guilty party, and Kevin Clark, 3 attempts coming to him.
So big foul goes against Tyler Hawkins, and as I mentioned, Kevin Clark now at the foul line for 3 shots. The 5'11" sophomore from Miami, Florida, has scored double figures in all but 2 games this season.
Boy, everyone else on the roster is from New Jersey, nearby Cumberland. Then you got Clark from Miami.
A lot of players from the southern New Jersey area, obviously because Cumberland outside of Vineland, New Jersey. But really is truly a testament to how well Darren Stallin has been able to recruit. He has been able to find some of the better players in that area as Cumberland now goes ahead by 4.
And they're off to a good start here on the road, unfazed, being the underdog, so to speak, as the number 6 seed, but playing well to start.
Sutton, nowhere to go, and Sutton traveled.
Well, one big key coming into this game, I think, for Brookdale was taking care of the basketballs. We see oftentimes when they get into trouble in games, especially early, it's because they're turning the ball over at too high a rate.
Kevin Clark, another 3. This one's back iron, no good. And Hawkins does a nice job of boxing out Phil Cicero downstairs to get the rebound. Hawkins spinning his way into the paint, lost it. And now here's Kevin Clark at the other end with the layup. And a timeout called by Coach Chizak as Brookdale has seen this game start to get a little bit out of hand. The Dukes lead by 6, 15-9. Full timeout on the floor, 14:02 to play. We'll take a break on BTV and come back to the Collins Arena after this. 14:02 to play here in the first half. Brookdale is down by 6 to the Cumberland County Dukes in the second round of the quarterfinal for the Region 19 men's basketball tournament. Semifinals will be held here on Saturday along with the finals on Sunday. Brookdale, though, wants to be a part of that because it's in their own arena. They've got some work to do out of that timeout. Forbes to Gatling, a tough shot. Side of the backboard, no good. Burden comes away with it for Cumberland. Now here's Kevin Clark, who is shown to be very dangerous from behind the arc. He keeps it himself this time. Partially blocked. 3 goes up from the other side of the court, and it's knocked down by Michael Burden.
Yeah, Cumberland is just doing everything right. They're finishing well in transition, and if they start hitting some shots from behind the arc, Brookdale will have to really be careful before seeing this one get away quickly.
Gatling is fouled inside. It'll be on the floor. Andre Robinson, first time we've called his name tonight, picks up the personal. That's now the second team foul on Cumberland. Brookdale will inbound with 20 to shoot. Gatling now kicks it out to Forbes. A wing 3. Not off. And Clark this time is fouled at the other end. Another foul in the paint. And we'll check. It's either going to be on Randy Sutton or Stefan Forbes. They'll call it on Stefan Forbes. That'll be his first personal. And now the third on Brookdale, as Kenneth Somerville checks in for Andre Robinson for Cumberland. Clark nearly lost it out of bounds, and he throws it to Tyler Hawkins. Sutton at the other end will lay it in for 2, so Brookdale gets lucky there on that turnover.
And that might be the break that they needed. See if that ignites a spark here for the Jersey Blues as Sutton went in uncontested.
They certainly need something, as Cumberland has definitely opened up the game very strong. Cicero lost it again. Brookdale now with some numbers. Sutton goes to the rim, off the glass and in for Randy Sutton. So a quick 4 points for the Jersey Blues at the hands of Randy Sutton, and they're within 5.
And that gets the crowd back into it, which is what Brookdale wants to see here as they try to chip away at this early deficit.
Under 12 minutes to play here in the first half. Kevin Clark, now over to Taylor Clark. Clark splits the defense to the rim, had it partially blocked away by Calhoun, but he throws it away.
Yeah, that's an uncharacteristic miss there by Calhoun, who I guess thought he had a teammate where he tried to roll that ball, but just nobody home.
I believe Calhoun was looking for Teray Gatling, but Gatling had already gotten down across midcourt, so miscommunication there. It's a shame for Brookdale. That had been their 3rd straight stop. Burton double teamed in the corner. He gets away and over to Clark. Now Taylor Clark, an NBA range 3, rims out. Rebound is knocked away by Forbes, and here comes Forbes now the other way for Brookdale. To Calhoun, the layup is good. And Brookdale within a possession now, 18-15, Cumberland leads.
Yeah, 6-0 run, and what each of the baskets have had in common, they've all come on the fast break.
Taylor Clark thought about another long 3. Now kicks it into the corner for Burton. Kevin Clark, another NBA range 3. That one doesn't drop. Brookdale with the push. Hawkins, a little short on that jumper in the paint, and the rebound is corralled by Kevin Clark. Taylor Clark, another 3. This one doesn't go. A lot of 3s for Cumberland in the last couple of minutes, Brian, but they have not been able to drop.
Yeah, they've settled.
Forbes, the long 2, is good. And it's a 1-possession game now as Cumberland has seen their lead evaporate over the last couple of minutes.
Forbes, who often is comfortable shooting it from behind the arc, that time steps into a shorter jumper and makes it count from 2-point range.
Shot clock down to 10 here for Cumberland. Cicero, nice feed to Clark, a little too strong. And Forbes, one of the smallest players on the floor, grabs another rebound. Sutton for the lead, he lays it in.
Boy, Brookdale able to weather an early storm, and that could end up proving big-time dividends as this game goes along.
Cumberland needs a bucket desperately. Cicero in the paint at Gatling. Tough shot goes for Phil Cicero. And Cumberland now goes back in front by 1. Dukes definitely needed that as they drop into a 2-3 zone defense. See if Brookdale can get the ball inside. That's what Coach Chizek told me pregame they need to do. Sutton for 3. Front rim no good. Kevin Clark, he's fouled. And I think this might be Randy Sutton. And if it's on Sutton, I believe it will be his first personal. So it's the first on Sutton and the 4th on the team. Tyler Hawkins will go to the bench. Emilio Stevenson checks in for him. Cumberland will inbound underneath their own basket with 25 to shoot. Cicero got it in for a brief second to Robinson. 3 from the corner by Danny Williams. Doesn't fall, it was an air ball. Forbes, another 3 from the corner is good. Stefan Forbes is filling it tonight, and Brookdale now leads by 2.
And this run has been sparked by the combination of Sutton and Forbes in the backcourt, making it happen both in transition and from behind the 3-point line, giving Brookdale the advantage.
22-20, Jersey Blues in front. Approaching 8 minutes left here in the first half. Taylor Clark, another NBA range 3, and he drains it.
Boy, these Dukes have no problem shooting from 3 or 4 feet clear of the three-point arc. It hasn't always worked, but that one goes down.
Calhoun not able to hit the jumper from the right elbow, and Danny Williams now tracks down the rebound for Cumberland. Clark thought about another 3 from that range. Now Kevin Clark guarded by Emilio Stevenson. Robinson now, right at Calhoun. Wild layup, rolls off the rim, no good. Cicero put it on the floor and he lost it. And Brookdale comes away with it with Stevenson. Forbes, who's been hot from that area of the floor in the right wing. There it goes, another 3. This one's back iron, no good. Cumberland looking to push. Kevin Clark. Not sure if that was a pass or if it was a shot. It's deflected out of bounds. And it will stay here with the Dukes with 24 to shoot. So a couple of subs coming in now for Brookdale as Randy Sutton and Jameer Calhoun go to the bench. Khalil Campbell and Tyler Hawkins come onto the floor. So it's Stevenson, Gatling, Campbell, Forbes, and Hawkins on the floor for the Jersey Blues. Taylor Clark, Kevin Clark, Robinson, Cicero, and Williams for Cumberland. Here's Cicero now right at Campbell. Can't get it to drop in the paint. Brookdale with an opportunity here to take the lead back. Gatling kicks it out, Stevenson. Campbell, long 2. Way off the mark, not even close. Williams the rebound. Taylor Clark fouled. Question will be, was he in the act of shooting? I don't believe so. I think they called the foul on the floor. Now the question is, how many fouls is that on Tyler Hawkins, rather? That's his second. He'll go to the bench. Clark inbounds a dangerous pass, nearly taken away by Forbes. Taylor Clark along the baseline, throws it down with an easy 2-hand flush. And the Dukes now back in front by 3.
You can see the talent that Taylor Clark has. He can shoot it from way outside, but also get to the rim and finish with dunks like that.
Taylor Clark averages 23 points a game. Really great overall player for Cumberland. Shot clock winding down here for Brookdale. Stevenson for 3, short. Last touch by Calhoun, out of bounds. It'll go back to Cumberland. Randy Sutton will now check onto the floor for Stefan Forbes. So Brookdale doing a lot of heavy substitution early on in this ball game.
Yeah, trying to make it work with different combinations, but it was Sutton who led the big run Brookdale had gone on a few moments ago. Then he hit the bench and suddenly things slowed down. They've been stuck on 22 points, so hoping to get restarted with Sutton back into the game.
Sutton comes onto the floor along with a new player that we have not called at all tonight, Teray Merritt. On the floor now for Brookdale. Williams nearly lost it. Now here's Robinson. Taylor Clark along the baseline. Another layup along the baseline for Taylor Clark goes. And Cumberland now slowly stretching their lead back out to 5.
And it's been a game of runs so far in this first half. Brookdale weathered the early storm, went on a run to take the lead, and lately it's Cumberland finding the answers again.
Stevenson tried to get in the Calhoun. Clark takes it away. A wild circus shot doesn't drop, but Kevin Clark grabs the rebound. His jumper doesn't fall. Calhoun finally secures it. Up ahead to Gatling, all alone. Gatling throws it down with one hand.
And just not very good effort there on the Cumberland side, getting back in transition as Gatling was found there for the uncontested dunk off the outlet pass, and no one in a yellow jersey was in the same area code.
5 minutes left here in this very fast-paced and fast-moving first half. Shot clock down to 10 here for Cumberland. Kevin Clark double-teamed, threw it away. Sutton comes up with it. Now here comes Brookdale on the fast break with Gatling. He has it blocked away by Taylor Clark. It was saved out of bounds by Danny Williams, and now Brookdale will actually get it to reset here on this possession. Stevenson, right in front of Coach Stalling. Gatling, bounce pass to Merritt. Merritt puts it in. And it's a one-point game once again. 27-26, Cumberland in front. This has been a heck of a first half.
It really has. I mean, the runs that we're seeing individual performances led by Clark on the Duke side. He's been impressive to watch.
Taylor Clark, another long three is good.
Right on cue, right?
Wow.
This guy just keeps pouring him in. He doesn't care where he is on the floor, just launching him up. What a first half performance.
And look at how far away he was from the three-point line. Incredible. It'll stay here with Brookdale with 18 to shoot. Taylor Clark, one of the sophomore leaders for Cumberland, has been tough to stop because as a defensive player, Brian, you don't really think to protect that far out, but he's able to make those shots, and that just creates headaches if you're a defensive player like Brookdale, in a sense where you don't really know where Clark's going to shoot the ball.
Especially since, look at him, he's shooting from here.
This time it doesn't go for Taylor Clark. Merritt dribbled it off his foot, so it'll stay here with Cumberland.
What I was going to say when I was interrupted by him shooting another 35-footer was he's proven that he can make the shot, so that just befuddles the defense even more.
Extremely impressive in this first half. Taylor Clark again, now kicks it out to Michael Burton, who checked in at the last buzzer. Cicero grabs the rebound. He can't get it to go inside. Finally, though, Cicero continues to fight and puts it in.
Yeah, he fought and fought some more there. 3 chances down near the basket, just kept getting his own rebound and eventually converts.
Merritt. Now over to Stevenson, who thought about a three. It was partially deflected. Shot clock is down to 13. Calhoun in the paint, tough shot, he's fouled. And this will be one of the very few times that Brookdale has gone to the foul line in this first half. The foul will be on Kevin Clark. I'm sorry, actually they're going to call the foul instead on Michael Burden. That'll be his first personal.
Yeah, and it's only the 3rd team foul all half on Cumberland. And how many times have we done games where we've seen the other team max out in fouls? They get about to the 10 number with like 8 minutes left in the half. That's why this game has had a nice free-flowing pace to it, not a lot of stoppages. It's been good basketball to watch.
So Jameer Calhoun, the 6'5 sophomore from Lakewood, hits a pair from the foul line and brings Brookdale to within 4. 32-28, under 3 to play here in the first half. Winner moves on to the semifinals of the Region 19 tournament, which will be held here on Saturday. Loser goes home. Their season is done. Williams, it's a 2 if it goes. Back rim no good. Tipped out, though, and corralled by Kevin Clark. And Cumberland resets. Clark directing traffic. Now we'll hand off to Cicero. Kevin Clark guarded by Stefan Forbes. Robinson had it stripped away. Brookdale with some numbers. Forbes didn't quite have it. Now he gets it inside to Merritt. And Brookdale wisely will back it out, as that was kind of a discombobulated fast break. Forbes. Nice bounce pass in the Gatling. At the rim, he can't finish. And the rebound to Burden. And a technical foul is going to be assessed to Teray Gatling. I'm not sure what was said, but this is going to be a costly one for the Jersey Blues, as this will send Cumberland to the foul line.
The number of technical fouls here in Division III Region 19 basketball seems to be increasing here in games that we've done. We've seen double technicals recently. Definitely seems like that number has been on the rise.
So at the foul line now will be Kevin Clark. He shoots 66% from the charity stripe this season for a pair of technical fouls. First one rims out. It was the first personal foul, by the way, on Teray Gatling, and the 6th on the Jersey Blues in the first half. Cumberland has only got 3 team fouls, as Brian mentioned a moment ago. Kevin Clark 1 out of 2 from the foul line, and Cumberland will maintain possession of the basketball. So you could make the argument, Brian, that Cumberland could use this as an opportunity to have some momentum, build some momentum going to the locker room at halftime.
Yeah, and it could start as simple as making a couple of free throws, but just in general, their offense has been clicking for most of this first half. I don't think they even need any added momentum. They've led for most of the way. Brookdale had the one big run, but overall, they've controlled the first half on the road.
Robinson now to Cicero. Ball being swung around here for the Dukes on this possession. Taylor Clark along the baseline, kicks it out to Burden, a 3 on the way. Calhoun the rebound. Here's Sutton now. Cumberland likes that 2-3 zone. They really haven't changed that up too much in this opening half. Forbes. Left arc 3. Too strong. Tip up no good. Calhoun tried to grab the rebound, but it's taken away instead by Cicero. Robinson at the other end had it partially blocked away by Sutton. Up ahead to Calhoun all alone. He lays it in and the foul.
And not a good foul here by Taylor Clark because Calhoun was going to make that basket regardless. And by getting a piece of Calhoun's arm, he gives him a chance to make it a three-point play.
So Calhoun once again at the foul line, averages 15 points a game. 72% foul line shooter, or free throw shooter, I should say, for the Jersey Blues. Completes the three-point play, and Brookdale not going away. They're still down by 2. Kevin Clark hands off to Taylor Clark. Clark on the attack, rejected by Jameer Calhoun.
Oh boy, the cheerleaders are in a dangerous spot there with blocked shot possibilities.
Cumberland's got 9 to shoot. Clark has to get it in. He lobs it in for Kevin Clark. It's taken away by Gatling. Who touched it last? It's Cumberland ball. What an effort, though, by Teray Gatling. A lazy inbounds pass. Let's take another look at this. It did look like Gatling did touch it, yeah. Yep. But a heck of an effort. Shot clock is at 6 here for Cumberland. They have to hurry here. Clark chucks one up there. Cicero, though, underneath the basket. Nobody boxed him out, but he couldn't finish as it was blocked away from behind. Sutton for the tie. He doesn't get it to go, but he'll go to the line. So with 13 seconds left here in the first half, Randy Sutton will have a pair of foul shots upcoming from the line. The foul is on Michael Burden. That's his second. And now Randy Sutton, the 6'2 freshman from Harlem, New Jersey, had 19 points in the last game that Brookdale played against Camden, their final regular season game. And he has really been impressive throughout the year. We mentioned at the beginning of the year that he was a player that would come off of the bench, then he worked his way into the starting rotation. Now he's a staple of the Brookdale offense.
He sure is, and he's had one of his best games so far here in this first half. When things were going sour for Brookdale, he ignited the run with a big offensive display.
Tied up at 33. Cumberland's got the final shot if they choose. Clark inside, off the glass, it doesn't go. 3 seconds left. Forbes with 1, throws it up there. Oh, it doesn't go. And that will end the first half. It's a tie game, 33 all. And what a first half it was. Very fast-moving opening 20 minutes of play here in the second round of the quarterfinals for the Region 19 men's basketball tournament. The winner goes on to play in the semifinals on Saturday. But I tell you what, Brian, I don't think we've seen a more fast-paced first half all season. Both these teams trading buckets back and forth. And it looked like early on that Cumberland had the momentum, they had the advantage, but I don't know if you can say that now after what we just saw the last couple of minutes from Brookdale.
Well, I was just going to say, I think this was the most entertaining first half of basketball we've seen in any game, and let it be a postseason game like this for it to come. Certainly great action, not a lot of fouls, which I think helped, but in terms of the game itself, I mean, Brookdale weathered an early storm, as you said. I mean, they were down. This game could have gotten away quickly. It looked like it may have been on the verge of that happening. And then what happened, Randy Sutton showed up, and he put together a big first half. Stefan Forbes started knocking down shots. Brookdale was able to find the lead. Then Cumberland kind of controlled things for much of the way, but you can see both these teams are going back and forth. They're executing offensively. This is setting up to be a classic going down the stretch.
It should be a classic fight and an interesting fight in the second half. We'll see how things shake out. Tied up at 33. We'll come back for the second half on BTV after this. And welcome back inside the Collins Arena in Lincroft, New Jersey. Getting ready to start the second half. Tied up at 33 between the Brookdale Jersey Blues and the Cumberland County Dukes. Tim Calafemo alongside Brian Gounsworth. Brian, simply put, this was an entertaining first half. What do you expect in the second half?
Yeah, I expect no different. I mean, what a game we've seen so far. It's tied at the half. We've seen up and down basketball. Both teams executing. Let's take the action now.
Let's go down to the court now for the second half. Second round of the quarterfinals for the Region 19 tournament. Mentioned earlier, the winner gets to play in the semifinals on Saturday, which is held here in the Collins Arena. So Brookdale certainly wants to try to get there. They are the college that has hosted the tournament, so they want to be a part of it if they can, as Taylor Clark comes out of the halftime break and puts it in along the baseline for two. He was extremely impressive in the first half, Brian, and he's already showing how dangerous he can be.
He really was, and he's going to have to be the focus of the Brookdale defense. There has to be some adjustments made to kind of slow him down because he is on fire.
Two straight turnovers to open up the second half for Brookdale. Opportunity here for Cumberland. Clark from the corner. That one doesn't go. Cicero, though, the offensive rebound. And now Cumberland jumps up to a 4-point lead to open up the second half.
Now this has been a game where one team's gone on a run, but the other has quickly found the answer. Let's see how Brookdale responds.
Well, Jersey Blues need a bucket here. Sutton inside. Wild shot. It goes in for Randy Sutton.
And oftentimes when they've needed the answer, in tonight's case particularly, it's been Randy Sutton who has provided just that.
Robinson, tough shot, got his own rebound. Gatling didn't even try to box him out. In fact, nobody boxed Robinson out underneath, but he couldn't put it in for two. Opportunity here now for Brookdale. Calhoun guarded by Robinson. Now Calhoun again, the jumper, a little too strong. And Kevin Clark grabs the rebound. Nearly fouled in the backcourt. He may have also stepped on the baseline, no call. Taylor Clark flushes it down with two hands at the other end. Yeah. So an incredible move by Taylor Clark, and Cumberland now leads by 4.
He couldn't get a look there on that last replay, but that was awfully close. Clark working the sideline, and everyone on Brookdale thought he did indeed step out of bounds.
Sutton was looking for Gatling. It's taken away by Robinson. Several turnovers now for the Jersey Blues in the opening minutes of the second half. Cicero, a wild shot, doesn't go. Kevin Clark goes down to the floor. He got hit in the head. And Darren Stalling will now come over to check on Kevin Clark. I didn't see what happened there.
I didn't either, but he's in some discomfort. Looks like he's getting to his feet, so we'll see if he's okay as he gets helped off toward the bench.
So Kevin Clark will go and take a seat on the bench. I don't know if he got poked in the eye or maybe hit in the head, but he appears to be all right. Danny Williams checks in for him off the Cumberland bench. Robinson, a fadeaway shot is good. Andre Robinson heating up from inside the paint, and Cumberland now slowly pulling away once again like they did in the first half. They lead 41-35. Calhoun, some contact, no call. Sutton puts it up, and the rebound is corralled by Williams. Nothing falling for the Jersey Blues early on. Turnover there as Burden was looking for Taylor Clark.
And Burden frustrated with himself for overshooting his man Clark that time. Just a poor pass when Cumberland had the momentum on their side.
Forbes had nowhere to go with it, now gets it into Hawkins with some contact, can't get the bucket to drop in the paint. And another rebound for Taylor Clark. Clark lost it. Sutton corrals it now up ahead to Hawkins. Right at the bucket, Tyler Hawkins can't complete the reverse layup. Back out Forbes for a three, he drains it. And once again, it's a one-possession game. Nice three by Forbes. He's got three in the game, and he comes up big on that possession.
And Brookdale needed that. They were floundering to start the half. Maybe that'll get them back going.
Robinson short on the jumper. Ball is still loose on the floor. Bodies go flying for it. Calhoun finally grabs it. Now here's Gatling. I don't know if he was expecting contact, but he couldn't get the layup to go. And now a 5-on-4 opportunity for Cumberland as Cicero finishes inside. 43-38. Kickball here on Cicero. It'll stay here with 19 to shoot for the Jersey Blues. Teray Gatling will come out as Teray Merritt checks in for him. Sutton will inbound. Merritt dumped it into Calhoun, guarded very tightly by Burden, but he's able to complete it inside.
And a fairly quiet evening so far for Calhoun. It's really important for Brookdale to get him going offensively.
Calhoun is one of the keys of the Brookdale offense. He needs lots of touches in the game. But you mentioned it, Brian, he's been fairly quiet. Kevin Clark that time with the drive, obviously he's okay. Remember, he was the player that was on the Cumberland bench a moment ago. Whatever was ailing him, he appears to be fine. Turnover there for the Dukes. An opportunity here now for Brookdale to either tie the game with a three or cut the lead to one. Sutton to Calhoun over Cicero. Offensive foul on Jameer Calhoun. And I think that was a good call as Cicero had set his feet. Calhoun was trying to force the issue there inside, but for Jameer Calhoun, now that's his second personal.
And that's just the first foul here in the second half, and we played 5.5 minutes. So all game long, these teams have done well to back off in terms of the number of fouls.
Cicero is double teamed. Top of the key for Burden, and he drains it. Michael Burden with a nice three, and Cumberland now leads 46-40. Hawkins trying to have somebody come out and set a pick for him. Now here's Sutton in the corner with 12 to shoot. Merritt back to Randy Sutton, three on the way. It goes for Randy Sutton.
Well, Randy Sutton has easily been Brookdale's MVP tonight. It seems like every time they're not going well offensively, they just put the ball in his hands and he's come through.
Taylor Clark bumped. He's on the baseline. So it'll go back to Brookdale once again with an opportunity to tie or cut the lead to one. Forbes gets it into Calhoun. Calhoun is fouled by Andre Robinson. And we'll check the number on Robinson. I believe that'll only be his second personal, and it is. It's the first on Cumberland in the second half. 21 to shoot. Sutton open for another three. This one's off the mark, and he knew it. He was trying to follow his shot. Now the Dukes with some numbers. Kevin Clark to the rim. A blocking foul is called on Stefan Forbes.
All right, it looked like Forbes did everything right there in terms of trying to take a charge. Feet perfectly set, wasn't in the restricted area, but the call goes against Brookdale and Forbes.
It did look like Forbes ever so slightly moved just a little bit to the left, Brian, just a tad bit. For Forbes, it's his second personal. And now Kevin Clark at the foul line for two shots. First one is off the mark for Kevin Clark, a rare miss. Talked about how impressive of a player he has been. He has 39 steals on the year, 108 assists coming into this evening's game. 5'11" sophomore, one of the two. It's a 4-point lead for Cumberland. Hawkins nearly went back court there along the midcourt line. Forbes, he nearly lost it out of bounds. Now it's taken away by Clark, and Clark did lose it. Stays here with 15 to shoot for the Jersey Blues. Forbes, dangerous inbounds pass to Sutton. And now Brookdale with 12 to shoot. Will try to set up their offense here. Merritt, nowhere to go. Shot clock at 4. Top of the key three for Hawkins. Back iron, no good. Sutton couldn't grab the rebound. And now here comes Cumberland looking to push. Clark, the three is good. Taylor Clark, how impressive has he been from behind the three-point line tonight?
And you just have to put a hand in his face. Calhoun that time passing by, got a hand up, but just not enough to phase Clark, who continues his brilliant night.
Calhoun inside with a nice teardrop jumper. Brings Brookdale to within 5. Approaching the 12-minute mark. Tim Catalfamo alongside Brian Gouds with the rest of our BTV crew here tonight in the Collins Arena. Second round of the quarterfinal matchups for the Region 19 tournament. It has been a good one so far between the 6th-seeded Cumberland County Dukes and the 3rd seed Brookdale. As an in-air at 3 from the corner doesn't drop that time for Cumberland. Now here's Hawkins, and he's fouled right at the foul line. Fouls on Phil Cicero. That is now the second team foul on the Dukes and the first on Cicero, as Teray Gatling checks in after a long breather on the bench. Sutton thought about a right wing three. Bounce pass in the Gatling, couldn't finish at the rim. Got his own rebound. Sutton the long two. That's way off the mark, and Kevin Clark the weak side rebound. Clark has it poked away. Sutton right at Cicero. Blew the layup. Out of bounds. It'll go back to Cumberland.
And Brookdale just missing some easy opportunities there. Uncharacteristically, the last one comes from Sutton, who's been working on a big night, but can't convert on that layup going to the basket.
Robinson was poked away, but I think Forbes is going to pick up a personal. It'll be the 3rd team foul in the Jersey Blues, and for Stefan Forbes, that's his 3rd. And it will send Andre Robinson to the foul line, the 6'4" freshman from Bridgeton, New Jersey. Missed the first half of the season, but has contributed nicely in the second half for Coach Stallings' team. Only shoots 53% from the line, 1 out of 2. It's It's a 6-point game. Forbes double teamed, tried to save it, and on the baseline was Calhoun, who barely had possession, but enough to turn it over. And now a conference here with Tom Fitzgerald and the scores table. Not quite sure what this is about. Coach Chizak in his 27th season. Getting I assume, an explanation. 11:03 to play. Brookdale down by 6. Coach Chizak told me pre-game that the team needs to get the ball inside. And actually for Coach Chizak, he's trying to uphold one of his pre-game or preseason goals, which was to make it to the Final Four of the Region 19 Conference Tournament. They're one game away from doing that. They need to win tonight.
And early on in the season, we talked about this being a transition year from, of course, last year's championship team winning the whole thing in the Nationals. And they got off to kind of a shaky start early on, but played their best basketball down the stretch.
Forbes, top of the key, 3, not even close, but he got his own rebound. Forbes on the attack, back out to Sutton, and Brookdale resets. With Hawkins, jump ball is called, possession arrow goes to Cumberland. Wow.
I don't think there was enough of a tie up there from Camden. It just didn't look like they had enough possession. The officials look like they're getting together. Right? This is kind of confusing.
Possession arrow was pointing Cumberland's way, but I agree, that was an interesting call on the floor. Anyway, Cumberland's got the basketball. They're up by 6. Shot clock down to 7. Taylor Clark lost it, but it'll stay here with the Dukes with 6 to shoot. Forbes was the one that poked it away.
Whoa.
Dangerous inbounds pass. Kevin Clark has to go all the way to the backcourt to corral it. With 2 on the shot clock, Calhoun rejects it.
Well, now there's 1 to shoot. It has to be a catch and shoot for Cumberland, and their best shooter, Clark, is the inbounder.
Lob for Cicero, shot clock violation. So nice defense there by Brookdale. And actually, there's a foul on Phil Cicero. I didn't see that. That was an offensive foul, I assume. That's his second.
So I think it was the foul call that drew the whistle as opposed to the shot clock running out.
Maybe. Either way, Cumberland was in a tough spot. I mean, what do you do when you have 1 second on the shot clock? Hawkins inside, that layup doesn't go. So many close misses inside for the Jersey Blues tonight. As Burden now will try to wait for the rest of his teammates to come down the floor. Kevin Clark inside is fouled. And if that's on Stefan Forbes, I believe, Brian, that's his 4th. And it is.
That's one issue that Forbes seems to have. He's a valuable piece when he's on the court because of his ability to shoot, but oftentimes it seems like he finds himself in foul trouble and forced to sit out key minutes here down the stretch of this game.
So Clark at the foul line. First one is good. Interesting to note, Kevin Clark and Taylor Clark, we've talked about the 2 Clarks all night. Again, no relation. They're not related to each other. But the Cumberland County Athletic Department dubbed them Thunder and Lightning earlier on this season. And you can see why with the performance that they have shown on the floor tonight.
They really have, especially Taylor Clark with his ability to shoot from just unlimited range.
Time out of the floor. Cumberland leads 53-45. We'll take a break. 9:46 remaining here in the second half. And back inside the Robert J. Collins Arena in Lincroft, New Jersey, Tim Kettlefemo alongside Brian Gowns with the rest of our BTV crew. Second round of the quarterfinal matchups of the Region 19 Conference tonight. In the conference tournament, the Jersey Blues find themselves down 53-45 to the Cumberland County Dukes. Cumberland has pretty much had control of the game all evening long, but Brookdale has been able to match their charges. They need a charge out of this timeout, down by 8. Forbes lost it. Kevin Clark's now got the ball. Right at Gatling to the hole. Kevin Clark lays it in. And now it is the largest lead of the night for Cumberland of 10. 55-45.
Yeah, the first time the game has been as far as a double-figure deficit either side.
And a foul here as Emilio Stevenson is double-teamed in the corner and fouled, I believe, by Kevin Clark. We'll double-check that. It's the 5th team foul now on the Dukes, and yes, it is on Kevin Clark. That's his second. Brookdale will inbound with 20 to shoot. Stevenson open for a 3. He takes it. It's front rim, no good. Hawkins grabbed the rebound, forces it up, off the rim and in. Brookdale needed that bucket, Brian.
And Hawkins has been very quiet, as you see there, Clark on the other end for Cumberland. But Brookdale's going to need players like Hawkins and Calhoun to step their game up here if they're going to get back into this.
Brookdale now has dropped him to man-to-man defense. Taylor Clark lost it, and he's fouled. We'll check if this is on the floor or a shooting foul. Taylor Clark's making his way to the foul line, so I believe this will be 2 shots. It's the first on Emilio Stevenson and the 5th on the team. So Taylor Clark, who has been incredibly impressive tonight, the 6'2 sophomore from Vineland, New Jersey, shoots 52% from around the floor, Brian. That is an incredible number, really almost off the charts.
Yeah, he's one of the most impressive players we've seen, in not only on Cumberland, but the entire region.
Another turnover, as Brookdale just has never been able to get a feel for their offense tonight. They find themselves down by 10. Taylor Clark open for another 3. This one's an air ball. Last touch, though, by Gatling out of bounds.
And rare to see him misfire by that wide a margin. But Brookdale unable to corral the rebound.
Kevin Clark right at Hawkins, some contact, forces it up there, and Emilio Stevenson grabs the long rebound. Brookdale definitely needs a bucket on this possession. Hawkins to the rim, rejected. Danny Williams with the rejection and the rebound, now he throws it away. Hawkins is still down at the other end, and finally the officials will call time, as it took a while for Tyler Hawkins to come up. I don't know if he hit his head as he was falling down on the last possession, but it'll give Brookdale an opportunity to inbound with 26 to shoot. Calhoun posting up, turnaround jumper is good. Full court press now for the Jersey Blues. Danny Williams, Taylor Clark, so dangerous, and he scores at the rim. Nobody picked him up. Brookdale just has really not had an answer tonight for Taylor Clark.
Yeah, that's kind of the story of how things have played out so far for Brookdale.
And another turnover, Kevin Clark. The bounce pass to Taylor Clark. The two-hand throwdown and a timeout by Brookdale. (61-49). Jersey Blues in a hole. As a nice behind-the-back, no-look behind-the-back pass from Kevin Clark to Taylor Clark. Thunder and Lightning coming up big for the Cumberland County Dukes tonight. They lead 61-49. We'll take a break on BTV. And back inside the Robert J. Collins Arena, 7:22 to play It's a do-or-die game for both teams. The winner goes on to play in the semifinals of the Region 19 tournament on Saturday. Brookdale, the home team, down 61-49. They need some answers. They have plenty of time to do so, Brian, but it really starts out of this timeout.
It does, and, you know, down by 12, they're going to have to put the ball in the hands of guys like Randy Sutton. He's helped get Brookdale where they've been at when they've been at their best in this game, and really need him to come through again.
22 to shoot here for Brookdale. Sutton now over to Emilio Stevenson. Remember, Stefan Forbes, who started the game, is on the bench with 4 personal fouls. Hawkins now to Stevenson. Timer down to 7. Hawkins inside, the layup finally goes inside for Tyler Hawkins. He's been looking for that shot all evening long, and it's an 8-point lead.
Yeah, and it comes in attack mode there to the basket. Brookdale needed that.
Make it a 12-point lead. I misspoke. It was 10, now back up to 12 for Cumberland. 63-51 as the Jersey Blues just continue to give up buckets at the under end of the floor. Remember, this game was tied at halftime of 33, but it has been all Cumberland in the second half. Another steal, and Hawkins commits a foul at midcourt. It's the 3rd on Tyler Hawkins, the 6th on the Jersey Blues. And a fresh 30 for Cumberland. Cicero on the attack. The left-hand layup. Finger rolls out for Phil Cicero. Brookdale with an opportunity here, down by 12. Gatling to Calhoun. The foul and the bucket for Jameer Calhoun. Foul is on Danny Williams. That's his first. And now Jameer Calhoun at the foul line for a crucial bucket, I should say. Crucial attempt to try to complete the three-point play. Tom Fitzgerald, lead official on the floor, DeJuan Jones and Myron Hendrick helping him out tonight. Calhoun completes the three-point play. It's a 9-point deficit for the Jersey Blues. Tyler Hawkins is on the bench. In for him, Stefan Forbes, and another foul in the backcourt, this time on Jameer Calhoun. So in the first half, Brian, we really didn't see that many personal fouls. Now it's looking like these last 6 minutes and 10 seconds are going to be loaded with fouls if this continues.
Yeah, now there have been 12 combined with the two teams. Brookdale has been penalized 7 times, and Clark trying to pad this lead here for the Dukes.
So Taylor Clark at the foul line for a 1-and-1. First one is no good. Gatling couldn't secure the rebound. Cicero can't convert inside. Brookdale got lucky. They need to convert on this possession. They could cut the lead down to 6 with a 3. Gatling, a tough shot, doesn't go. And Clark grabs the rebound. Kevin Clark attacking the rim, the other end, lays it in. Brookdale has struggled with transition defense tonight, Brian. That's really been their Achilles heel in the second half.
And the two Clarks have been the two biggest beneficiaries for Cumberland in those situations.
Forbes, the 3, halfway down the cylinder. Stevenson, the rebound, forces it up, no good. And Clark again is fouled. Seems like it's the same story. Every time Cumberland gets the rebound, they get fouled in the backcourt. That is on Teray Gatling. They make it the 8th team foul on the Jersey Blues. It's the second on Teray. And Kevin Clark, once again, at the charity stripe. Mentioned that he has scored double figures in all but 2 games this season. Brookdale and Cumberland had split a pair of games earlier this season, in the regular season. Both of them were close, and in the first half, we thought it was going to be close, but in the second half, the Dukes have really just turned on the Jets. And you said it a moment ago, Brian, between Taylor Clark and Kevin Clark, Brookdale has not had any answers inside really at all.
Yeah, they haven't. And you go back to the first meeting, it was way back in the home opener, back in the early part of November. I missed that game, but that was one of the better games in terms of it being close, and Brookdale was able to prevail late with a 1-point victory.
And now Cumberland, with a 13-point lead, can take all the time in the world in this possession. Clark, again, is fouled. And Taylor Clark will take the leisurely stroll to the foul line. Fouls on Emilio Stevenson. Now that's his third personal. And we'll see Mekhi Morgan check in for the first time tonight. We mentioned how Brookdale is missing Jordan Smith. He broke one of his fingers in the last game against Camden late in the game. And I talked to Coach Chisak actually over the phone this morning, and I asked him how would the team fare without Jordan Smith on the floor, and he said as long as we're able to rebound and play defense, we'll be okay. They have rebounded the ball, but they haven't been able to convert inside, but defense has been a major issue for them as Forbes counted and won. Maybe the spark that Brookdale needs with 4:48 to go.
Yeah, they needed that. A couple of possessions ago, Forbes had a three from the corner that was halfway down and out, and you thought, oh, maybe it's just not Brookdale's night with shots just not going their way, but there is still enough time to mount one last rally and see if they can make this interesting.
So Stefan Forbes, the 5'10 sophomore from East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. It's a 10-point game. Full court press for the Jersey Blues. Trying to cause a turnover. Cicero to the rim. A foul. No, a jump ball. And the possession arrow points Brookdale's way.
So that was the kind of call that seemed to go against them every time earlier on in the game, but that time they get the basketball in a key situation trying to get closer.
See if they can capitalize. Forbes to Calhoun, to Gatling, to Sutton, now swinging around to Mekhi Morgan. Everyone touches the ball in this possession. Forbes for three, no. Gatling the rebound, tough shot, inside is good. And a quick timeout taken by Coach Chisak. With his team down by 8, it's a full timeout with 4:49 to play. Brookdale trying to mount a charge late here in the second half. We'll be back on BTV. Back here in Robert J. Collins Arena, Tim Calafremo alongside Brian Goudsward for coverage of the 2019 Region 19 Conference tonight. Their tournament at the end of the year. Most years it has been here in the Collins Arena. Last year was up in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania on the campus of Northampton Community College. They'll be hosting the Women's National Tournament in a few days in the middle of March. But we have got a good one here in this second half. Cumberland out of the timeout, only leads by 8. Brookdale trying to mount a charge. Winner goes to play in the semifinals on Saturday. Shot clock down to 14 here for Cumberland. Man-to-man defense. Kevin Clark on Forbes with 4 fouls to the rim. No good. Gatling the rebound. Gatling to Sutton to the rim. Randy Sutton lays it in. And it's a 6-point game.
Now we expect Brookdale to go to the press here and see if they can force Cumberland into some mistakes.
Remember, Cumberland led by double digits earlier in the second half. They've seen the lead slowly start to slip away. Williams. Now back out to Burden. Shot clock is down to 11. Taylor Clark guarded very tightly by Randy Sutton. He can shoot from there, and he does. It's on the way. It's front rim, no good. He got his own rebound. Cicero inside. The bucket and the foul for Phil Cicero.
And you just can't allow an offensive rebound in that situation. Have to find a way to box out, clear the glass. Instead, you give up an and-one basket opportunity for Cicero. That is a back-breaking mistake.
And to add insult to injury, that's the 5th foul on Stefan Forbes, so he will foul out of the game 3 minutes and 12 seconds early. Tyler Hawkins will come back in as Phil Cicero who was 11 of 15 from the foul line in the last game that Cumberland played in their 83-68 win over Passaic. That was in the first round of the Region 19 tournament. This is now the second round of the quarterfinals. And Cumberland looking for a semifinal berth. Cicero too strong on the attempt. It remains an 8-point game. Morgan nowhere to go, now gets it over to Hawkins. Hawkins back to Morgan. With the drive inside, Morgan is fouled. And we'll check the number. I'm not quite sure. I don't know if this is either going to be on Danny Williams or another player for Cumberland. And it is on Williams. That's his third personal. And now the 7th team foul for Cumberland. They are in the bonus. Brookdale is already maxed out with team fouls, as Morgan can't hit the first attempt from the line, the 5'10 sophomore from Piscataway, who hasn't seen a whole lot of playing time this year. Yeah, but with the absence of Jordan Smith, he has to come into the game.
And not only Jordan Smith, but now Stefan Forbes out of the game on fouls, forced to play some key minutes.
69-62, Clark on the baseline. Opportunity here is now Emilio Stevenson. Looks like he will check in very quickly for Makai Morgan. So Morgan goes back to the bench. It's Hawkins, Stevenson, Sutton, Gatling, and Calhoun on the floor for Brookdale. They're down by 7. Stevenson the long 2, it goes. 5-point game. Poked away, Sutton was on the baseline. Nearly another turnover. And now Brookdale playing a little bit of offense, defense here. Emilio Stevenson comes back out, Makai Morgan back in. Coach Chizak directing traffic. Calling out a play. Cumberland has slowly seen their lead dwindle. Clark put it on the floor and he lost it. Gatling right at the rim, he lays it in. Timeout, Coach Chizak. And the Collins Arena erupts as Brookdale, this is the closest that they have been since the early stages of the second half.
I mean, what a game this has been, and it just seems like every time you think Brookdale is out of it, they mount a big rally, and they're getting out in transition, scoring baskets, making this closer, and setting up for a fantastic finish.
Full time out on the floor, we'll take it with him. 2:19 to play, come back to the Collins Arena after this. All right, 2:29 to play here in the second half. Out of the timeout, Cumberland leads by 3. Brookdale continuing to go with this full court press. Cumberland's able to beat it. Now they need a bucket. They have gone scoreless the last several minutes. Clark is bumped, no call. But Clark, the other Clark, Kevin Clark, picks up in the backcourt. Hawkins was on the baseline when he stole the ball away. Oh my goodness. Probably should have been a foul on Brookdale as Taylor Clark was thrown down to the floor, but no call.
The officials are definitely letting him play in this game. There's been many situations where a foul could be called on either side that hasn't been.
Clark has it stripped away, and a foul on the floor on Brookdale. Foul is on Tyler Hawkins, that's his 4th. And now at the foul line for some crucial attempts, Kevin Clark, the 5'11 sophomore from Miami. Clark had 31 points a few nights ago against Passaic. First attempt is good. Emilio Stevenson comes into the game for Makai Morgan.
Emilio Stevenson checks back in for the Jersey
Clark's second attempt. Takes a deep breath. It's on its way, off the front rim and in. 5-point game. 2 minutes to play. Brookdale needs a bucket on this possession. Sutton has it blocked. Calhoun the rebound. Inside Jameer Calhoun, it's a 3-point game. And now Coach Chizak burns another timeout. So Brookdale down by 3. We'll check if this is a 30-second timeout. I think it's going to be a 30. So we'll keep it here on BTV. But Brian, Brookdale obviously making use of the timeouts that they have, which can't blame Coach Chizak for doing. You have them, you might as well use them. But it just seems like Brookdale has come so close, but they can't seem to quite get over that edge.
Yeah, it's going to be a matter of continuing to try to force turnovers. They're going to press each Cumberland possession. If they can't get a steal, they're going to send the Dukes to the free throw line, and then it becomes pivotal for Cumberland to finish it off by making free throws. Brookdale, though, since they've gone into press, they're getting the turnovers. They're just not always cashing in on the offensive end.
I mentioned Brookdale and Cumberland split a pair of games this year. They were both decided by less than 6 points, as Cumberland now will be forced to burn a timeout as they can't inbound the basketball. Cumberland has got 3 timeouts remaining. Brookdale's only got 1. So Coach Stalling now will try to draw something up on the sidelines. It'll be a full timeout on the floor, 1:50 to play. Back to the Collins Arena for the conclusion after this.
Let's go!
Brookdale Community College, the power to provide accessibility to over 60 degree and certification classes.
Tim Califamo alongside Brian Goudsward, 1:50 to play. The conclusion of the second round of the quarterfinal matchups here in the Region 19 Conference Tournament tonight. Many games taking place around the conference. Middlesex taking on Philadelphia, Northampton playing Union, Rowan College of Gloucester County playing Montgomery. All those teams trying to get to the semifinals. Cumberland will be able to get the ball inbounded, but Tyler Hawkins picks up a foul. And for Hawkins, that is his 5th. So not a smart foul to commit, and once again, Kevin Clark at the foul line.
And you see there the leadership of Jameer Calhoun just immediately goes over to Hawkins, gives him some words of encouragement as he watches his second teammate exit the game on fouls.
Well, that's big, Brian, because now that's 2 players that have fouled out for Brookdale. We documented Stefan Forbes earlier in the game. Now Tyler Hawkins. Clark shooting 66% from the line. First attempt is good. Brookdale's not out of the game yet. Still a long way to go. But they're going to need to not only get buckets at the other end, but to have Cumberland miss some of these foul shots. 1 out of 2 that time. It's a 4-point game. Stevenson. To the hole, he's fouled. And we'll check the number on Cumberland. That'll be their 18th foul. It's a 2-shot foul for Emilio Stevenson, and it's on Michael Burden. That's his 3rd. So Emilio Stevenson, the 6'2 freshman from Brielle, another player that hasn't gotten too much time on the court, can't complete the first attempt from the line.
Yeah, and this is an inopportune situation to be missing free throws. At this juncture, you need every point you can get with your season on the line.
Stevenson's second attempt is good. 1 out of 2. It's a 3-point game. Cumberland has to inbound the basketball. Nearly a 5-second violation. Clark falls down and he's fouled. Calhoun will pick up his third. Mentioned that Brookdale is already maxed out with team fouls. And it's I mentioned it last game, Brian, same song, second verse. It seems like we keep repeating. Clark, one of the two Clarks, goes to the foul line after a Brookdale foul.
You're so right, and Taylor Clark, I mean, what a game as he misses the first one.
That's a big miss for Clark at the foul line. He usually shoots 76%. Clark's second attempt is good. It's back up to a 4-point game. And Coach Stalling now will burn a full timeout. So both coaches using up their timeouts late in the game with everything on the line. 1:35 to play. Another timeout on the floor. We'll take a break. 1:35 to play. Brookdale down by 4, 73-69. Coach Stalling has got 2 more timeouts left on his side for Cumberland. Brookdale's got 1. Both coaches using up their timeouts in the second half. And in a close game, why not? You have them, you might as well use them. With everything on the line, a chance to play in the semifinals and to keep your hopes alive here in the Region 19 tournament. A lob for Calhoun, he missed it. And Cicero the rebound. Brookdale may have to foul here, down by 4. Clark. Nearly stripped away by Stevenson. Now Clark loses it. Calhoun up ahead to Sutton. Stevenson. Calhoun on the drive, dumps it to Gatling. Gatling the wild layup, that doesn't go. And Cicero the rebound. Cicero is fouled. This is very reminiscent of the game that Brookdale played on the road against Cumberland earlier this year on January 5th. Brookdale had ample opportunities in the game with ample turnovers from the Cumberland side to get buckets and to turn themselves in the positive direction and get the lead. They weren't able to do it, and this is almost history repeating itself as Teray Gatling picked up his third foul.
Well, and another interesting tidbit is in both meetings during the regular season. What do we have going on here on the Brookdale bench?
Well, Jameer Calhoun has blood on his jersey. And you cannot play with blood on your jersey. Calhoun needs a uniform. And there's some confusion as to how they're going to work this out. Pete Fusco is at the training table. I think they're just going to put a piece of tape over it, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe wipe it off.
Well, anyway, what I was going to say is both meetings during the regular season, Brookdale scored the exact same point total against Cumberland, 71 points in both games, and you look up at the board, they're almost at that exact number tonight, so just kind of an oddity.
Brookdale won by 1 point, 71-70. Season opening home game of the year back in November. They lost to Cumberland on January 5th, 76, to 71.
Now you hope Calhoun is able to come back in. I think he's set to check in probably right now.
Yeah. Well, Brookdale only had 4 players on the floor, so now Calhoun comes back in.
And they still only have 4.
Sutton's actually in the backcourt, so hiding over back where the Brookdale bench is. But these are, again, some critical misses, leaving the door slightly open. Cumberland is with these misses from the foul line, as Cicero couldn't hit the first attempt. And now Calhoun will go to the bench and Teray Merritt comes in. So Phil Cicero shoots 63% from behind the line, had a career-high 31 against Camden earlier this season. The shot is good from the line. It's a 5-point game. Under a minute to play. Brookdale needs a quick score. Gatling to Sutton. Sutton nearly lost it. Brookdale needs to shoot here. Stevenson, the three, it was partially blocked. Cumberland got the rebound. And now Clark is fouled by Randy Sutton.
Well, Sutton in a situation there where he's forced to commit a foul because of the time left remaining, and unfortunately it's slipping away for Brookdale with every chance on the offensive end where they're unable to convert.
So it's a second foul on Randy Sutton. And once again, Kevin Clark at the foul line.
These Clarks, I mean, they make a living at the free throw line. It's unreal.
They certainly have been at the line a lot in tonight's game as Clark is able to hit the first attempt. Jameer Calhoun comes back in. That may have been the last shot that Brookdale had with 38 seconds left to go in the ball game.
Especially if Cumberland makes their free throws.
Clark makes them both.
A lane violation. Looks like they're negating the second attempt.
Wow. So I guess Clark must have stepped on the foul line before that shot went up. I didn't quite see that, but it's a huge break for Brookdale. It's a 6-point game. Gatling in the corner. Brookdale needs to score fast here, Brian. They can't afford to take this much time. Sutton, the desperation three doesn't fall. Calhoun puts it back up and in with 21.6. And Coach Chizak will take his final timeout. .6 to play. Brookdale out of the timeout, down by 4. They need a miracle because Cumberland, such a good foul shooting team. They have been in control of the second half. At one point, Cumberland led by double digits. Brookdale did, to their credit, come back and make things interesting down the stretch, but they find themselves in a hole. They need something to happen to them as Clark is fouled immediately out of the timeout. And we'll check the foul. It's on Calhoun. That's his fourth. And Taylor Clark at the foul line. Rims out. Again, Cumberland leaving the door open just slightly for Brookdale. Clark's second attempt is good. 5-point game. Brookdale needs a quick score. Clark takes it away. And Cicero now is fouled, and that might just about do it.
I mean, he didn't even need to take it away. It was handed to him. It was just poor execution in the worst possible time. Like you said, Brookdale desperately needed to make a shot on that possession if they were going to have any hope, and now pretty much all hope is lost. An unfortunate way to see things come to an end like this.
Foul was on Sutton. That's his third personal. And now Phil Cicero at the foul line. 6'3" freshman from Millville, New Jersey. And we talked about how fast the first half was. Second half going on close to more than an hour on the court. It has been complete opposite of what we saw to open up this game.
And that's all the fouls will do that.
Cicero, the first attempt from the line is good. And this will be a tough way and probably a shock for some teams in the Region 19. Cumberland, a very good team, but we knew this was going to be a battle as Calhoun again turns it over, couldn't handle the pass from Stevenson. And Cumberland was going to dribble out the clock. Calhoun, playing his final game, doesn't want to go out like that. Will extend the game for at least a few more minutes. And Calhoun now is fouled out of the game.
And if you're another team here in the Region 19 potentially watching this game, you have to view Cumberland as a major threat to play well against any of the top teams. I mean, this is no 6 seed. I mean, that's just a number. The way, the caliber of players they have on the court, a dynamic duo with the two Clarks and what we've seen them do in this game, potential to do big things.
Clark just now padding the effort at the foul line. And it looks like Cumberland will punch their ticket to play in the semifinals on Saturday. They'll either play the winners of the games against Middlesex and Philadelphia, Union and Northampton, or Rowan College of Gloucester County against Montgomery. Brookdale, one final heave by Sutton. It goes in as clock expires. Actually, with 0.1 left on the clock. It's a 3. It won't matter. Cumberland, an impressive win tonight. They win 80-74. And a tough way for the Jersey Blues to end their season. They didn't have Jordan Smith on the floor this evening. They had several players foul out, 3 to be exact, over the course of 40 minutes of basketball. And unfortunately, a tough fall for the Jersey Blues. Tough loss tonight in the Collins Arena. Cumberland, though, to their credit, as I mentioned a moment ago, between Taylor Clark and Kevin Clark, just unbelievable. They're called thunder and lightning, and there was no doubt about that tonight. They were dynamic on the floor. They played incredibly well, and they took it to Brookdale. And really, for the majority of this game, especially in the second half, Brian, Brookdale just didn't have an answer, simply.
Yeah, and they did it in a lot of ways. It started early in the game, though. You could see early on the skills that Taylor Clark in particular had. I mean, the three-pointers that he made, he was launching them from 5 feet behind the line and making it look easy out there. So they set the tone early. You know, Brookdale was able to bounce back, though. They fell behind early in this game by around 8 points, ended up taking the lead in the first half. It seemed like they were able to have the answers, but down the stretch, just too much lack of execution. They turned it over too much in inopportune times, and in the end, really too much of the Clarks.
So a tough way for the Jersey Blues to end their season. They fall 80-74. Cumberland, though, punches their ticket to the semifinals on Saturday. So let's reset that for you. Cumberland is the first team that we know of at this point. The other games are going on at this moment, but Cumberland will play. They'll play either Philadelphia or Northampton, Union County or Middlesex or Rowan College of Gloucester County or Montgomery, if that makes any sense. Those are the teams that are still in the hunt. We'll have those results as soon as we get them to you, and then they'll play in the semifinals on Saturday. Our coverage of a full day of basketball, men's and women's, will start at 12 o'clock Eastern Time on BTV and then continue on Sunday for the finals. So for our entire BTV staff, with my broadcast partner Brian Goudsworth, I'm Tim Catalfamo. We'll see you on Saturday. The men's team, though, they finished their season early, falling to Cumberland 80-74. Have a good night, everybody.